A very good morning to all of you. Hope all are doing fine. In the previous class, we have discussed up to verse number 5, okay, of the poem John Brown written by Bob Dylan, right? And as I told you, I'll be finishing this poem in the next class, that is today. But before we proceed further, we need to know what had happened so far in the poem, right? We are introduced to the character John Brown, who is a soldier who goes off to war in a foreign shore, and his mother is very proud, and she is very much boastful about his son, that his son actually serves such a profession which is quite exceptional and causes all the pride of her. And when she saw her son is wearing the uniform and standing tall, she finds herself very much elated to find her son at such spectacle, and she is very boastful. Whenever the train leaves for the journey, she tells everyone near her neighborhood, and with a happy and pleasant smile at her face. It seems that she is very much romanticized with the idea of war. Okay, and when she receives the letter from her son, she is very happy, and she also shows this letter to the neighborhood. But what had happened after 10 months? After 10 months, she actually received a letter, but that letter was not written by her son, but a letter she received, and it was about her son. And it was informed that her son is going to come, and she was asked to meet him. Okay, so we have read so far, and we already know that John Brown's mother, that is no one but a representative of the common ignorant people who has no idea about the destruction effect of war that it has upon the common people. And we are only glorified with the idea like the warrior, those who are taking part in the battlefield, they are really brave, and they are making us proud by risking their own lives. We are only associated to such ideas, and after winning the battle, here John Brown also presents that he is going to get a lot of medals, which his mother wants to hang on the wall to decorate the wall. This is nothing but the representative of the common people like us. At the end, he will receive certain medals, but at the expense of what? At the expense of his own life. Okay, so it's nothing but its destructive effect upon all, and it is nothing but a futile affair having no sense. Okay, so we have read so far. Now we will get to know what had happened. Like John Brown's mother got the news that her son has returned, and she is obviously very much curious and eager to meet her son. But what will she actually observe? Let us find out in verse number 6. Yes, hope the book is opened in front of you. She smiled and went right down. She looked everywhere around. Who is she? John Brown's mother. So she just smiled and went right down. She was very curious to meet her son. So she just smiled at the thought of seeing her son, seeing her soldier son. She looked everywhere around. She was with much eagerness. She was looking for her brave son, but she could not see her soldier son in sight. But she couldn't find her son. Okay, but as all the people passed, she saw her son at last. So after returning home, after having a victorious journey, when all are returning to the country, to their homeland, she was very eager to see her own son, but she couldn't find. And when everyone left, she finally found her son. When she did, she could hardly believe her eyes. So now you see the imagery, the image that was set in her eyes was the tall and the wearing the uniform. Her son is standing tall with the elated smile on his face. So she has actually bade goodbye to her son with such a spectacle. But here the scenario is different. What she has seen, first she couldn't find her son, and then whatever she has seen, whatever condition she has witnessed of her son, then that was nothing but an unbelievable sight. So what had happened? So her, now we will get to see the contrasting images are, they are popping up, okay, to us, and her smiles, the broad smiles that she used to have on her face is going to be shattered. Okay, so the sight generates a shocking questions to the whole reader, to all the audience, like what had happened, what made her so much shocked. Now the time of realization. Okay, all the glory and expectations will meet to a tragic end. Now let us read stanza 7 so that we can find our answer. Of his face was all shot up, and his hand was all blown off. The first line, you see, she's shocked to see her son physically and psychologically damaged and broken. Okay, so his face was all shot up. Just try to understand. Okay, and his hand was all blown off. Try to fetch the deplorable condition of her son. Okay, and try to understand the described emotion here. And he wore a metal brace around his waist. He's wearing a metal brace around his waist because he cannot stand tall and still that he used to do earlier. Now we can understand here the dark brooding image reflect the fatal consequences of war here. He whispered kind of slow in a voice she did not know, while she couldn't even recognize his face. Oh Lord, not even recognize his face. Now what happened? John Brown, who once stood straight in his uniform, made his mother happy and elated. That now the scenario is completely different, and this is nothing but a deplorable sight of his son that is being witnessed by his mother, and his face is blown off. His face is shot, his hand is blown off, and he cannot even stand still and straight. He has to take the help of the metal brace. So here in the last two lines, while she couldn't even in last three lines, he whispered kind of slow in a voice she did not know. Now he tries to speak something, but whatever he was speaking remains, that was something, unrecognized by her mother, by his mother, and it was unrecognizable because whatever he was speaking, whatever he was whispering was very low in tone, and it was much obscure. Okay, so it was impossible for his mother to fetch the words what he was actually speaking with. It was incomprehensible for his mother. So we can see here, and while she couldn't even recognize his face. Oh Lord, not even recognize his face. So the glorious sight has been diminished here with the realistic face of war. That was not the face of John Brown. That was the actual face of war and its consequences. Okay, so the mother, he cannot even recognize the face because it is completely disfigured. It has been dismantled. So nothing was there in its place to recognize, and it was such a horrible sight to witness. So she undergoes here a tragic realization on seeing her son. Now she can understand the hardship and suffering of a soldier. Oh, tell me, my darling son, pray tell me what they done. How is it you come to be this way? Now she is, with a painful heart, she is asking, who are the people? What they have done to you? What is the cause of this disfigured face of yours? Now she actually was romanticized with the fact that war causes nothing but glory and pride. But that was not the real picture of a war. Okay. Now after seeing her son in such a tragic and deplorable condition, she is raised with such a question, which should be raised by her from the very beginning when he prepared himself for a war, for a battlefield. So her vision of reality is far from the idyllic dream of seeing her son walking proudly with medals, right? He tried his best to talk, but his mouth could hardly move, and mother had to turn her face away. Now we can see here the pangs of the soldier's son. He is trying to speak, but he is unable. Even if he is trying hard, his voice is not fetched to the audience, to his mother. So he can hardly move his mouth. And here the cataclysmic war has made his condition so tragic that his mother also turns her face away. So just try to understand the unacceptable reality caused by war that hits her so hard. Questions arise in her mind. If war is really heroic and worthy, then why her son is suffering with such a tragic condition? She was very eager and enthusiastic about her son's departure. However, now her son's despairing silence actually made her silenced forever. His physical and mental condition reflect destruction and nothing but pessimism. Don't you remember, Ma, when I went off to war? You thought it was the best thing I could do. Now through the conversation, it is going to be an eye-opener for all of us. He is asking a few questions, not to his mother only, but to all the people around the world who has no idea about the real picture of war. So John here narrates his traumatic experiences through his mouth to his mother. He reminds his mother of the time when he departed. His mother used to be so proud, and with a happy face, she always, bade him goodbye. Now what happened to you? She is asking. I was on the battleground. You were home acting proud. Oh my God, this line is causing goosebumps, isn't it? You wasn't there standing in my shoes. Now he is asking, he is actually stating the bitter truth, the bitter irony, while he was facing the bullets and shells, standing in the battle zone, standing in the war field. His mother was actually sitting at home and with a boastful nature, she was bragging about her son. Okay, so she has no idea what her brave soldier son was going through. So by this line, his pangs are very much distinct, and the pain he had gone through. You wasn't there standing in my shoes. You weren't there at my position, right? So raise a universal question to all the human beings who falsely attribute heroism and the glory of war. The false theorists attribute honor and acclamation to war. They falsely preach that there is a divine glory in dying, in battling with the enemy in the battlefield, but no such idea exists in reality. Actually, they have never experienced the horror of war. They have always keep themselves aloof from all the horrors, okay, and all the horrifying images that can be brought through war. So the soldiers who finally returned home after the devastation, no one is actually asking them how was their battlefield, how much miserable condition they had to go through in. They had to, that what is faced by them, it is unbelievable for us to imagine even. So the atmosphere in the field war was like hell, and at the worst of it, and his mother has no idea about it. Rather, she was only boastful and bragging about her son's heroic deeds. Oh, and I thought when I was there, God, what am I doing here? See, he was saying when he faced the battlefield in reality, he came across with the devastating effect of it, and he was actually asking, no one knows to whom, but he has the question, why is he there? Am I trying to kill somebody to die trying? So now he has been there trying to kill somebody or die while doing so. He was there if either he was trying to kill someone or he was killed by someone while trying to kill others. But the thing that scared me most was my enemy came close, and I saw that his face looked just like mine. Oh Lord, just like mine. See, when actually he faced the situation to face the enemies in the real context, he did not see them from a different spectacle. Rather, they appeared to him exactly like human beings like him, and they were not different from him. He forgets about their hostilities. Instead of becoming bitter foes, he finds a reflection in himself in his enemy. Reflection of himself in his enemy. Because he says, I saw that his face looked like mine. So the stanza expresses the internal battles that the soldiers face, particularly the regret he faces on the battlefield. It emphasizes the meaninglessness of war. It actually helps us to realize that his enemy exactly looks like him. So both of them have same physical organs and same state of mind and same head and heart. There is no difference between them except the fact that they belong to two different groups who are there to fight against each other. And I couldn't help but think, through the thunder rolling and sting, that I was just a puppet in a play. This is the irony of the poem. John Brown here notices a strange kinship between him and the enemy soldier. He realizes that he is a mere puppet in the play. His perception strongly challenges the validity of war. He becomes aware of the fact that war is having nothing to do with something sensible. Rather, it brings nothing but nonsense. And through the roar and smoke and string, it finally broke. A cannonball blew my eyes away. Now try to have the massacre of the humanity there. Okay, so he is trying to explain the situation. John Brown here comprehends that it is due to the outbreak of the unnatural thing that was war. It destroys the healthy communication between humans. He tells her mother, like all others, have been fighting without any specific purpose. They have been used as puppets by the warmongers. A cannonball takes his eyes away amid roar and smoke. While it started, it was nothing but roar, smoke, unnecessary noise, and unnecessary sound, thunder rolling sound, and stink means smell. But this cannonball took his eyes away. John Brown's mother finally learns the reality behind the long famous glories. So Dylan's here fundamentally realistic and human approach exposes the hollowness of war. John's disfigured body is a living evidence of this. As he turned away to walk, his ma was still in shock. So John's mother was still in shock to see her son in such a disfigured state. At seeing the metal brace that helped him stand, she cannot believe her eyes that her tall son, who was standing gloriously in his uniform, is not being able to stand without the help of the metal brace. But as he turned to go, he called his mother close, and he dropped his medals down in her hand. Now when she turns to go, he just called his mother and drops all his medals to her hand. This is the ultimate irony. So this medal symbolizes the heroism and glory associated to war, which goes exactly opposite to the damaged and disfigured and dismantled face of John Brown. John's mother witnesses both today. Her wish is fulfilled today, however, she has paid a heavy price for this. Her wish to decorate the wall with the medals owned by her son is fulfilled, but that causes almost the life of her son. War actually changed John's life forever. Disfigured by bombs, even his mother doesn't even recognize him. Nothing can be more tragic than this. Warmongers use this young man as pawns for fulfilling their selfish motives, and that is very much evident in the poem John Brown, written by Bob Dylan. Right? So, yes, here ends verse number 12. This is quite a heartwarming poem, and it made us overwhelmed towards the end. Hopefully you understood the central idea of the poem, and you will have no difficulty in reading, I'm sure, because it doesn't contain a single word unknown to us. Okay, but the thought has a universal value, has a universal appeal that should be conceived by all of us. That is the message of the poem, right? So I already discussed about the themes, that futility of war, false glory associated with war, and unpredictability of human life, right? These three themes are very important, and obviously the title of the poem is also very, very, very important. Let me just quickly tell you the points so that you can frame your own answer if you are asked the question to justify the title John Brown. So title of any work of art is significant as it points to the theme or to the central character. The title of the poem is John Brown is simply and directly point to the main character of the poem John Brown, who is a soldier. So it revolves around John Brown, a soldier who is sent by his mother to fight in a foreign country like every other soldier. John Brown expects to receive acclamation and appreciation. Her mother is proud to have John Brown as a son. She shares her joys with her neighbors. However, she is shocked at her mother's return, at her son's return. He returned with a mutilated body, face all shot up and blown off. The tall and dignified John Brown, around whose story the poem revolves, takes the help of the metal braces to stand. However, the poem criticizes the war in general. From this perspective, John Brown can be any soldier. He represents all those unfortunate soldiers who faced a tragic end in the war field or the battlefield. In this manner, the title doesn't refer to one John Brown, but it refers to uncountable John Browns, all over the world, and the nerve-shattering experiences that they faced in the war zone. Now you will be able to write this title. It is up to you how do you frame the answer. So literary devices, three devices are used here. First is repetition, because we have seen in the previous stanzas, "Oh God, old-fashioned war. Oh Lord, not even recognize his face. Oh Lord, just like mine." These are repeated. Okay, these are repeated. So some key phrases and lines in the poem are repeated to emphasize the idea that war is savage and barbaric. It creates a sense of urgency. And alliteration, we have seen puppet in the play, PP, this consonant sound is common, and dropped his metals down in hand. So this D sound is also repeated. Now irony, John Brown's mother had high hopes in her heart when she sent her son to the battlefield. She has thought that her son will be winning a lot of medals there. However, when actually towards the end, her son drops all the medals in her hand, that caused the ultimate irony in the poem, because when she witnessed whatever it took as its expense, like it has gifted a mother a disfigured and a mutilated body of her son, and it has also given certain medals to her son, but it has of no value now. This is the ultimate irony here. So you will be reading this. Hopefully you will face no difficulty. If you face any, we will be discussing in the live class, and you can write to me through emails or comments in the YouTube section. Okay, so have a good day ahead and do attend all the classes. Thank you for being so patient.